Okay, students, today we are to continue on with the topic which we take up before, that is metals and non-metals. So first of all, in the beginning, we have discussed about physical properties of metals and non-metals. We also have discussed about chemical properties of metals and non-metals. Now, today we will discuss about occurrence of metals. How do metals occur? Metals occur in two states in nature. One is called free state and the other one is called combined state. Metals occur in two states. One is called free state and the second one is called combined state. So, some of the metals they occur in free state, some of the metals they occur in combined state. When metals occur in combined state, they occur as oxides, sulfides, carbonates or halides. This is how metals occur in combined state. When they occur in free state, they are free in nature. That means we can get metals directly from the free state of metal. So when we divide metals into four different categories. The first category of metals are called highly reactive metals. They contain potassium, calcium, sodium, magnesium and aluminum. These are called highly reactive metals. So, potassium, calcium, sodium, magnesium and aluminum, they are called highly reactive metals and they are found as oxides. That means potassium will occur as potassium oxide, potassium can occur as potassium sulfide, potassium can occur as potassium carbonate or potassium can occur as potassium halides. And the same goes on with calcium, sodium, magnesium and aluminum. That means all of them they are found in combined state. They are not found in free state, they are found in combined state. The next group of elements is zinc, iron, nickel, tin and lead. These five elements they are called moderately reactive metals. That means they are reactive but they are not very reactive as compared to highly reactive metals. They are moderately reactive metals and they occur as oxide, sulfide or carbonates. These moderately reactive metals, they are not very reactive as compared to highly reactive metals. So they occur as oxide, sulfide, carbonates or halide. No, not halides. Oxide, sulfide and carbonates. And the next group of elements we have is copper, mercury and silver. These are called less reactive metals. This group of elements they can be found in combined state as well as free state. So these elements they are found in combined or free state. And the last group of elements, that is gold and platinum, they are called least reactive metal and they occur in free state in nature. So these are four group of elements: sodium, potassium, calcium, sodium, magnesium, aluminum. They are called highly reactive metals. Zinc, iron, nickel, tin, lead. They are called moderately reactive metals. And copper, mercury, and silver. They are called less reactive metals. And the last one, silver and platinum, they are called least reactive metals. Highly reactive metals, moderately reactive metals, they are found in combined state. Less reactive metals, they are found in combined as well as free state, and least reactive metals, they are found in free state in nature. So these are occurrence of some different types of metals. Now, how are we going to extract different metals from here? We will discuss about that. So next part of the lesson we have is about minerals and ores. So there are different substances that are found on earth crust from which we can extract metal. So different substances found on earth crust from which we can extract metal, we call them as minerals. Minerals can be anything. They can be found inside the earth crust, they can be found in water. Minerals are those substances from which we can extract metals. Like for example, in seawater we have sodium chloride. From here we can extract sodium metal. We have magnesium chloride. From here we can extract magnesium metal. So all these substances, they are called minerals. Next, now ores. When we discuss about ores and minerals, minerals are substances, minerals they are substances from which metals can be extracted. Minerals are substances from which metals can be extracted. So minerals, they are of different types. Now next, ores. Ores. Ores are those minerals from which metals can be extracted profitably. Ores are those minerals from which metals can be extracted profitably. Say for example, let's discuss about minerals and ores in proper order. So let's take an example of aluminium. Aluminium is a metal and it exists in mineral form. Mineral has two forms. The first form of aluminium is clay and the second form is bauxite. If you extract aluminium from clay, then you will spend lots of money for extracting this aluminium, and after spending lots of money, the aluminium which you get from clay will not give you any profit. But if you use aluminium for extracting, if you use bauxite for extracting aluminium, then you will spend less money, you will get more aluminium, so you will get profit here. So those minerals from which we can extract metals profitably, we call them as ores, and those minerals from those substances from which we can extract metal, they are called minerals. From here what we can say is that all the ores, they are minerals, but all minerals cannot be called as ores. So this is about the next part, that is about discussion about ores and minerals. So let's move on to next part, extraction of metals. Now, in next part of the topic we have extraction of metals. We call that process as metallurgy. So, now we are going to discuss about metallurgy. Metallurgy are various steps involved in extraction of metals. There are sequence of steps which we are going to carry out for extracting metal from their ores. That processes which are used, we call that process, that sequence of process as metallurgy. So there are 5 important steps in metallurgy. The first one is crushing. Second one is concentration or purification. The third step is conversion of ores to oxide. And the fourth step is conversion of ore to oxide. The fourth step which we are going to carry out in metallurgy is reduction. And the fifth step which we are going to carry out is refining. So we will discuss this 5-step turn-wise, and we will understand what is metallurgy and how are we going to carry out all this process stepwise. So first let's begin with crushing. So what do we do in crushing? When we extract metal from the source, from where we get metal, that means from mines, then metals, they are found in bulk. Bulk means they will be in very big sizes mixed with stone, mud, pebbles. So these stone, mud, pebbles which are mixed with metal which is found in bulk needs to be removed from metal. So what we do is we first of all crush this metal into very fine pieces. After crushing this metal into very fine pieces, now we will get small powdered pieces of ore from which we are going to extract metal. That process of converting a bulk of metal into small pieces, we call it as crushing, and crushing is done with the help of mechanical rollers. Okay, before we discuss the next step, let's discuss about reactivity series of metal. In the beginning, we have done about four parts of metal, which include sodium, potassium, calcium, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, and then zinc, iron, nickel, tin, lead, copper, mercury and silver, and the last one gold and platinum. So that series of metal, we arrange from potassium to platinum. We arrange metal in the decreasing order of reactivity. From potassium to platinum, we are arranging metal in the order of decreasing order of reactivity. That means when you go down, the more you go down, the metal will become less and less reactive. This order of arranging of metal in the decreasing order of reactivity, we call it as reactivity series of metal. We will meet that in the later part of our lesson. So let's continue on. After crushing, in crushing, what we do is that we will take a bulk of metal, and that bulk of metal contains certain impurities like stone, mud, pebbles. Bulk of metal, which is a bulk of ore, contains certain impurities like stone, mud, pebbles. So they need to be removed. So in order to remove them, what we do? We put all this bulk into mechanical rollers, and then these mechanical rollers will convert this bulk into small pieces. Bulk means very big in size. So this big size of metal will be converted into very small pieces, and that small pieces they will undergo the next process, that is concentration. So let's go on to next process number 2, that is concentration or purification. When we discuss the word concentration or purification, it is not very difficult to understand. So concentration means, suppose you bring one bag of rice to your home. Before we cook that rice, what we do is that we will take that rice, we will find out if there is pebbles in the rice and we will throw it out. If there is husk in the rice, we will throw it out. So throwing out of that husk, pebbles, we call that process as concentration, because they are unwanted impurities. So here in metals also, just now in crushing we have done that. The ore of metal contains stone, pebbles, mud. So all these are unwanted impurities. As they are unwanted impurities, they need to be removed. So that process of removing that unwanted impurities from the ore, we call that process as concentration. And concentration is done in 4 different ways. The first way of concentration is called gravity separation. hydraulic washing. The first process of concentration, we call it as gravity separation or hydraulic washing. In this process, what we will do is that we will take an inclined plane having ridges. In the first process, before concentration, we crush the metal. So we will put the crushed ore here and we will let some water fall down in the crushed ore. When water fall down, if impurities is heavy and ore is light. If impurities is heavy and if ore is light, impurities will be stuck in the ridges. Because of this force of water, all the impurities will get stuck here and all the ore will fall down here. And if impurities is light and ore is heavy, then ore will be stuck here and impurities will be here. So in this process, kinetic energy of running water is used to separate impurities from ore, in which one of them, either impurities or ore, one of them should be heavy and one should be light. So this process is called gravity separation or hydraulic washing. In this process, we will let a stream of water flow through the ore. When stream of water flow through the ore, if impurities is light, then the stream will carry away all the impurities, leaving the ore behind. So this process is called gravity separation or hydraulic washing. Now the second process of removing impurities from the ore, we call it as flotation process. So in this froth flotation process, first of all, let's understand what is froth. When we put some surf in water and if you stir the surf properly, then you will find bubbles. That bubbles will float at the top of water. We call that as froth. So in froth flotation process, what we are going to do is, this process is mainly used for concentration of sulfide ores. We use froth flotation process mainly for concentration of sulfide ores. So in this process, what we are going to do is, we will take a container and we will put mixture of oil and water. We will take a container, we will pour a mixture of oil and water in the container. Here, sulfide ore, they can mix with oil very easily. Sulfide ore mix with oil very easily. So we call sulfide ore as lyophilic. Lyo means oil, philic means loving. So sulfide ores are lyophilic in nature. Now the impurities that are present in this ore, they are water loving. That means they can mix with water very easily. So we call them as hydrophilic. Hydro means water, philic means loving. So impurities, they can mix with water, so they are hydrophilic, and sulfide ore, they can mix with oil, so they are lyophilic. So what we will do is that, first of all, we will put the crushed ore inside this container containing oil and water mixture. After that, we will put one pipe containing fan at the bottom. This pipe is called agitator. So we will blow air through the pipe. When we blow air through the pipe, this fan will start rotating. When this fan rotates, the ore along with impurities will mix with oil and water properly, as sulfide ore can mix with oil and impurities can mix with water. We know that oil is lighter, so oil will be at the top, and water is heavier, so water will be at the bottom. As impurities mix with water, impurities will settle down at the bottom along with water, and as sulfide ore mix with oil, sulfide ore will float at the top. We will separate it from the impurities. This process is called flotation process. So in this process, let's repeat one more time. In flotation process, this process is mainly used for concentration of sulfide ore. Sulfide ore are oil loving, they are lyophilic, and impurities are water loving, that means they are hydrophilic. So we will take a container containing mixture of oil and water. We will put sulfide ore inside it. After putting sulfide ore inside it, what we will do is that we will put one pipe having fan at the end. We call that pipe as agitator. We will blow in air through the pipe. When this fan rotates, this ore along with impurities will mix with water and oil properly. When it mixes, as water can mix with impurities, impurities will settle down at the bottom along with water, and as sulfide ore mix with oil, sulfide ore will float at the top of the container along with oil. So we can separate sulfide ore from impurities by this flotation process. This is process number 2. Process number 3. Process number 3 is electromagnetic separation. When we say the word electromagnetic, we can understand that we will use an electromagnet for concentration or purification of ore. So in this process, what we will do is that we will take 2 wheels made of, and these 2 will be electromagnets. That means they will behave as magnet when electric current passes through them. After that, we will put one belt around this electromagnet, and this process is mainly used for separation of ore, which can be attracted by magnet. So let's say an ore of iron, for example. Now here what we will do is that we will use in all the process. We will use, in the beginning we have crushed the ore. We will use that crushed ore in all the processes. So in this process, the crushed ore we will put it here, and we will let this belt rotate. When this belt starts rotating, what will happen? The belt will carry all this crushed ore along with it. When it reaches here, now this magnet will start attracting magnetic materials in the ore. So when this start rotating, magnet will attract, and when it reaches here, now those substances in the ore which cannot be attracted by magnet will fall down and will be collected over there. Those substances which can be attracted by magnet, they will go along with the belt till magnet can attract it, and it will go and fall down somewhere. So in this process, we use this process mainly for separating magnetic ores. In this process, a magnetic ore will be taken, and we will make a belt along with electromagnet. We will pour that crushed ore in the belt. When this belt rotates, the magnetic substances will be attracted by this electromagnet, while the non-magnetic substances, after reaching the edge, will fall down separately, and the magnetic substance will stick along with the belt and will go and fall down after the influence of magnet is over. So impurities and ore will be separated in different places, and this process is called electromagnetic separation. This is the third process. Now we have the last process called leaching or chemical method of separation. next process is leaching. This is also called chemical method. So in leaching or chemical method of separation, what we are going to do is we will use reagents. We will use reagents for separating ore from impurities. Let's take an example where we apply leaching. For example, aluminium oxide, bauxite. It contains unwanted impurities in the form of mud, stone. So in order to separate them, we will use this process of leaching in aluminium oxide. So what we will do is we will take aluminium oxide along with impurities and we will mix it with sodium hydroxide. When you mix this aluminium oxide with sodium hydroxide, then we will get sodium meta-aluminate and water. When you mix sodium hydroxide with aluminum oxide with sodium hydroxide, then you will get sodium meta-aluminate and water. Now this sodium meta-aluminate is soluble, can mix with water, but impurities, that is mud, stone, pebbles, they cannot mix with water. So what we will do? We will next process we will filter them out. After filtering out, this sodium meta-aluminate will pass into the solution. We will put the solution here through filter paper and we will get sodium meta-aluminate solution here. When we add some more water, then sodium meta-aluminate will be separated into aluminum oxide, that without impurities, and sodium hydroxide. So after separating into aluminum oxide and sodium hydroxide, we will take out the aluminum oxide, we will dry it. This process is called leaching. Here we use chemicals for separation of metals from their impurities. These are 4 different processes of concentration or purification of metal. We will stop here for today's class. In our next class, we will continue on with the next topic, that is conversion of ore to oxide, reduction and purification. That's all for today.